Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome back to another match in the VLTMT tournament quarterfinals. Got another very exciting winners bracket matchup for you guys here. We got Arccat going up against SunApple, arguably one of the closest matchups in the winners brackets so far. Some can make an argument for some of the earlier matches being very close as well. So we're going to be in for quite a bit of a show. My name is Sparky and I am joined today by Pork is Great. Hey Pork, how you doing?
Hello, Sparky. It is nice to commentate with you once again. Hello, everybody. We are here to see perhaps one of the most interesting matches on paper so far this tournament. A tournament that is, well, for this match alone, is occupied with nothing but our clan, the BSM clan, as we are seeing, everybody here around the stream is from the BSM clan. I mean, you don't have the BSM clan tag, but it's okay. But yeah, this is going to be the number 1 seed Arccat versus the number 8 seed SunApple. And I will say that this is actually a match that I've really been intrigued on watching so far, because so far in these in both of these players' runs, neither of them have given up three or more points to their opponents. You have Arccat throughout his first 3 matches. 2 of his matches were won via sweeps, except the one match in his round of 32 match where Forever 1227 steal a point from Arccat. And then you have SunApple, who also had a sweep of his own against Kit, the 57 seed, but then narrowly had a tough battle with Sorofuru from the disbanded KN clan before defeating the number 24 seed Sky in the round of 16. So now here we are.
Yep, gonna be a very exciting matchup between these two players. I feel like, I hope this one lives up to the excitement that Logan and Lurk's match earlier this weekend gave us, the other winners bracket matchup that I believe got streamed. That was a very close matchup as well. As we know, Arccat, our number 1 seed, very well-rounded in all skill sets. I feel like SV is a bit of a standout between these two. SunApple, no slouch, however. Probably gonna opt to go for these LN picks once the match proceedings get underway. So definitely gonna be interesting once we get into the protect and bans, what the strategies are gonna be from both of these players. I think both of them have a good amount of respect for each other and their capabilities. So definitely going to be putting forth a hefty amount of effort, you would imagine, once the warm-ups are done.
Yep. It's going to be interesting that both of these players have very different strengths and weaknesses. So of course, it's going to be interesting to see what these two will strategize on choosing to have an advantage over one another.
Absolutely, and as we get done with this first warm-up, can we talk about that score real quick from Arccat? That was a 97% on a very brutal SV map.
Yeah, SunApple did pretty good on its own, but unfortunately, Arccat really being the SV supremacist, who will definitely have that advantage over SunApple. So if I were to be SunApple, even though this is quite early, I'd probably ban SV unless he has practiced SV to the point where he might have a competitive chance against Arccat.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely gonna want to opt to get rid of those SVs, you would imagine. I mean, to be fair, maybe they leave them open for whatever reason. I feel like that's a bad strategy overall. But you never know, they can get a little goofy with with these protects and bans. We can speculate all we want about what the decisions are going to be, but ultimately, these guys know what they're comfortable with. They know what they're going to opt to go for.
Yeah. So we're getting into SunApple's warm-up. This is about 3 minutes and 7 seconds long. It's another Camellia Nanahira map or song that I'm pretty sure every Osu player has got to know at least these two artists. And now we finally got the skin right. We have Bonkmi doing double duty. Bonkmi is doing the ref and the stream at the same time, so thank you to Bonkmi for being able to help with this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely helps keeping the interest alive in the tournament. I know streamers have been at a premium, so anybody that does come in to help in that regard is definitely very much appreciated. Even if some folks like to go a little bit of shtick whenever things do go wrong. I mean, to be fair, this tournament client is held together by spaghetti strings and duct tape, and I think they managed to replace the spaghetti with something more fragile. Have been seeing a couple of client issues throughout this weekend. I think it's a widespread issue across any tournament that's running right now. But I digress. We see the physicality element that SunApple possesses coming out here in this warm-up. Definitely quite a bit speedier, quite a bit more dense than an SV warm-up that we saw earlier. I think it's going to be very important. It's going to be very important going into this pool in particular, because some of the Rice picks are pretty absurdly physical for a quarterfinals pick, or for a quarterfinals pool. I feel like we're touching the upper end of physicality for this round, at least in the perspective of the players and their comments as they've played through the map pools.
Yep. And you know, with this match, whoever wins will advance to the winners semifinals against the first seed Logan 636, a match that you mentioned was a pretty interesting match to watch. And whoever loses that match will move down to the losers semifinals, where they will take on either the winner of P-Dog 40 or Sky the Dum Dum. That's another match I am intrigued to watch.
God, what a reward for those two players. It's like, hey, congratulations, you made it to semifinals. Here's Arccat, or here's SunApple as your next opponent.
Yep.
I mean, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So you're going to have to run into these players eventually. And oh my goodness, the lower bracket better be ready for one of two very powerful players coming down to meet them. Yeah, as this map winds down, that will do it for the warm-ups. We'll get into the actual match proceedings. See who wins the role. I feel like that's going to be very important in terms of deciding the tone of this match.
Yeah, and you know, I'll say this with this format in general. I mean, there's not a lot of tournaments where, at least from what I've seen, where you'll have protects and bans. I've seen, you know, most tournaments they would do it with the bans only, and oh my gosh, Arccat just won.
A powerful 45 beats the 19.
Yeah, so Arccat will get first pick regardless of what order it's going to be in. So, but other than that, having the protects being as a factor just makes these tournament matches become a lot more interesting, because this is where like you can play like well you can pick a map that you would want to protect that your opponent will have to play no matter what, regardless if they want to or not.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of a wrinkle into the proceedings. And it looks like Arccat is going to want to protect first here.
Yep, so SunApple was telling him to protect the tiebreaker. That's so funny.
With how close these two are, I mean, we could potentially see it. It is very early on. Be interesting to see how these players are feeling once the match actually starts. It's always interesting to see what match nerves do to certain players. You either get this monumental skill boost during the match, or you just find yourself missing all over the place.
Yep. So Arccat's gonna go with LM1 protect Cozy Catastrophe.
Yep.
Interesting protect there.
Yeah, very interesting in the context of this match. Might feel that the LNs are a little bit less physical overall and might not feel the need to protect one of the SVs. They probably feel comfortable playing both. So, and SunApple in response going to protect Genda Arms here.
Oh, interesting.
Wanting to opt for that physicality aspect, see if they can outmuscle Arccat on a speed pick like that. Arccat not too happy with that protect.
I mean, to be fair, with that warm-up that we just seen for SunApple, I think that might have been a right choice for SunApple.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe it is going to be SunApple next to Ban. The order sometimes gets a little misconstrued. Some folks do ABBA, some do ABAB.
And SunApple's gonna go with the SP1 ban. So yeah, like I've mentioned, the SVs, I mean, Arccat is definitely superior in that department than SunApple. SunApple's gonna go with with that ban, and Arccat was going to ban Rice too, so now he's going to ban
Successive strings.
Yeah, so Rice 5. So Rice 5 and SV1 are going to be the bans for these players. LN1 and Rice 2 are going to be protected.
Okay, so have everything sorted out here. It is going to be Arccat to pick first. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to go for to kick things off. Probably going to reside in this lower half of the map pool. Gonna probably stick with the LN SVs. Wouldn't be surprised if SV2 was the first pick to start things off.
It'll be interesting to see if any of them will decide to go with Hybrid. I feel like Hybrid is going to be a toss-up between these two.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the way, probably going to be the way forward in terms of trying to maybe snatch breakpoint. So both players are going to probably want to avoid those as long as possible. We are still waiting for Arccat's pick, though, looking to get into a bit of a conversation with SunApple in the lobby chat instead of choosing their map.
Yeah, they are discussing with why Arccat have opted not to go with the SV protect, which is which makes sense. I mean, considering that if you're facing someone who hates SV, obviously one of those maps is going to get banned regardless of which map you're going to protect.
Regardless, yeah.
And with that, Arccat will go with Rice 1.
Okay, he's gonna go for Banger. Has been a bit of a banger so far this weekend. Pretty popular pick overall. Have seen it picked quite a couple of times with varying results. I'm kind of surprised by this one in the grand scheme of things. Less physical overall than something like Genda Arms, but I think in terms of just raw physicality, I feel like SunApple might be able to out-ratio Arccat in this regard. It remains to be seen. It's going to come down to how the players are feeling, but we are going to have a bit of a ratio battle on our hands as we load into this first map of this best of 11. It is going to be Banger coming out.
Yep, and we're dealing with client issues right now because we do love Bancho. And now we are officially getting things underway in this best of 11 first to 6 match.
Yeah,
so far,
right
Arccat with a nice lead starting things off.
A very slender one as the accuracies start to even out a little bit. 99.88 to 99.84. Arccat holding the ratio advantage right now going into the second quarter of the map. I don't believe either player has dropped a 200 yet, probably just separated by those 300 counts. And as I say that, Arccat drops a bit of accuracy in the transition going into this break. Gonna even things out here. We're gonna play tug of war with the leaderboard as we get into the back half of the map. SunApple with the tiniest of margins to work with. You can probably write off that lead as Bancho trying to keep everything in sync as you see the leaderboard sway back and forth between the two players. Oh, and an alert coming out from Arccat.
Arccat with another act drop. This is going to now shift in favor towards SunApple's favor since no one has dropped a 200 just yet. I think this is going to be like who can get the highest accuracy for this one.
Absolutely. I said it at the start of the map. This is going to be a ratio battle, and right now it seems that SunApple is winning it, but it is by the tiniest of margins. A 200 coming out, but it is traded back by Arccat. No harm, no foul overall, but the accuracies are evening up yet again as we get into this last sliver of map. Arccat going to climb back up into that 99.8 range, but SunApple comes down to meet him, and we're virtually tied going into these last couple of notes. SunApple dropping a bit more accuracy.
Oh my goodness. And that's just going to be it. Arccat will narrowly take the first point.
700. Oh my goodness. 21 300s the difference between these two.
Man, that was really, really close. Unfortunately, it's just had to be done. SunApple was simply outperformed by Arccat in the last quarter of the map. In the last quarter of the map, it looked like it was the first half was shifting towards Arcat's favor, but then Arccat was dropping a lot of 300s for SunApple to just narrowly come back. And as I want to keep going with my analysis, we are going straight into Hybrid 1.
Okay, so we were discussing this a little bit before this match started. This is going to be where those breakpoints are going to be won or lost, I imagine, with how close these two players are. And Arccat narrowly defending their first pick. It's going to be up to SunApple to return the favor and keep things knotted up. Arccat looking to try and take that first breakpoint here. The players are ready. We are going to get into the second map of this best of 11. Going to dive away from the Rice into something a bit more hybrid, not committing fully to the LNs just yet, probably keeping those reserved for later on in the match.
Yep. So here we go with this second map here. So far it's just flickering all over the place right now, and Arccat with the big act drop was holding a 99.99% until it just drops that back down. And both players.
Couple of 200s.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting right here, but the lead is still somewhat flickering right now as we get into what looks to be a hyper. Oh my, SunApple with the first drop. That's going to really give Arccat a much big lead here.
Yeah, it's gonna be the biggest margin that either players had so far this match. They were virtually neck and neck in that first Rice pick. Gonna be up to SunApple to recover the accuracy quickly here. Arccat is dropping here. That roll gonna drop them down into that 0.4 range, gonna give SunApple a chance now that they're back over that 400 combat gap to climb in accuracy above Arccat here to make some dents in this lead. A third of the map still to go. That being said, that miss is paying dividends right now in cushioning this lead that Arccat has.
Yep. I mean, so far, I mean, both of these players are at same accuracies right now. It's just that SunApple had that unfortunate break towards in the middle of the map.
And last sliver of map to go. I don't think even if Arccat misses at this point, it would change things. There aren't a lot of surprises left up this map sleeve. And it looks like Arccat is going to be taking the first break point in this match to go up 2-0.
And yeah, unfortunate for SunApple for having the higher accuracy.
Oh, they had the ratio too.
Oh yeah, and the ratio as well. That's just a difference maker right there.
Yeah, I was saying before this map started, the hybrids were going to be where these breakpoints were going to be won or lost. And unfortunately for SunApple, it didn't pan out here. That being said, there's still plenty of maps to choose from, plenty of opportunities for them to claw back some advantage here. And it looks like Arccat's going to go for SV2, probably just because they feel like it.
Yep. So, yep, it's going to be SV2. So this is the only SV map that we will see, and you know, definitely going to work out in Arccat's favor. So if SunApple wants to take this really crucial breakpoint, he's gonna have to play towards Arccat's strengths.
Yeah, just a little bit, but I mean, with how close these two are, I feel like SVs are going to be the one outlier in terms of skill set prowess. I feel like they have quite a bit of overlap. It's just going to come down to the consistency and who can hold their nerve and the combo during these maps. As we saw during Hybrid 1, it was just one miss the difference.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting to see how the first two maps have gone. With the first match, it was a difference by 21 300s, and on the previous map, we had a break from SunApple that unfortunately was the difference maker for Arccat to take the match, even though SunApple had the accuracy advantage over.
Alrighty, so diving into this SV2 pick somewhere else. Haven't seen this one a lot. Has been quite a popular ban or avoid. I think that just comes down to the overall length. Anything longer than 2 minutes. I mean, to be fair, SVs in general are pretty prime grounds for banning.
Yep. And as like we see, SunApple will find a first drop of this map.
Yeah, I feel like this one's going to be a bit of a war of attrition. SunApple trying to hold on to combo as best as they can. Hope that Arccat finds a drop somewhere during the map, but that first miss isn't going to help matters here as Arccat holds on to that 99.76. Incredible ratio coming out right now as we get into the second third of the map. These teleports very aggressive.
SunApple is hitting those 200s, but is still holding on to the a really good combo that he's having right now. With a 98.79%, I mean, it's really good, especially to his own, and I'll give him credit for that. But I mean, when you're facing against someone who has so much experience with SV, I mean, you can definitely see the difference right here.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a comfort pick here for Arccat. I feel like they wouldn't have minded if either which one got banned. They were just going to pick the other. They knew they had the advantage going into the pick. It was just whether or not they could perform on it. And so far, they have been very consistent throughout this match. Last quarter of the map to go. SunApple back up into that 99% range. Definitely not out of the woods here if Arccat were to spot a miss. But that being said, I think they have this relatively under control. 100 coming out there on the transition, going to damage the accuracy just a little bit. But thankfully wasn't a combo break. I think if it was a slider break, we would have a completely different conversation right now. And as the map winds down, not a lot of gimmicks left to read through, and it looks like Arccat's well on their way to securing this third point.
Yep, that's just going to be it. Arccat with, you know, a great performance right there, and oh my goodness,
that's not that far off. Like I said, if
actually...
Arccat found a miss, things would have been very different. I think the accuracy would have kept them ahead by just a little bit, but the timing of the miss would have been very important because SunApple would have had that combo cap advantage. Would have been very hard to get back up over that 400. And SunApple wasting zero time, gonna go for Rice 23. We have 23 Rice maps. This is the culmination of all of them. You get this Gen Arms pick coming out.
Yes, it's Rice 2. Gen Arms, like you said, a pretty physical map. I think this is SunApple's best chance to get a point if possible, and you know, this is SunApple's protect pick, so this is going to be interesting to see if Arccat can catch up with SunApple for this fourth map of this match.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective for everybody, this was used in Soft. One of the earlier rounds, I can't remember which one off the top of my head, on a cut base rate. The fact that we're having it here at 1.05 is kind of brutal, if I do say so myself. But, I mean, some players are up to the task in terms of being able to play it. I mean, all that matters at the end of the day is that your score is higher than your opponent's. The number doesn't really matter too much. And as we dive into this, Arccat basically knows that they might not have a chance, but they're going to put their best performance out there in true sportsman fashion. And right now, able to hold up in this first speed section. 99.7s across the board. Actually has the accuracy lead over SunApple going into this first quarter of the map.
Yep, SunApple with a slight lead right now, but Arccat does have the accuracy advantage over SunApple by 0.04, or not, yeah, by 0.04 right now is the difference.
It's too close to call at this point.
Yeah.
Bit of a break section here before we dive back into this brutal speed sections. Second third of the map upcoming. Arccat finding a bit of an accuracy drop into this section, dropping down into that 99.2 range. Very crucially holding on to the full combo, however, probably just hanging on for dear life as these patterns progress. Very easy to misread. And once you find one, it's very easy to chain a couple, and SunApple is actually going to be the first one to drop here. That being said, they do have a bit of an accuracy advantage over Arccat, so the bleeding isn't going to be that bad. It's not going to immediately shift over as if it were a closer match, so definitely has a bit of a cushion to work with, but Arccat's going to be able to chip away at this lead. This next speed section is going to be crucial. SunApple cannot afford another miss going into this last third of the map.
Yeah, and you can also see the different play styles that these two players have. On the left side, Arccat plays with a lot slower scroll speed. You can see SunApple's scroll speed. These notes are coming off at such a high pace right here.
Yeah, one feels calm, one feels like a panic attack, and Arccat gonna finally drop that full combo, and that's going to give SunApple a bit of a cushion to work with now. They did have the accuracy advantage, and Arccat, the stamina is coming down. They are going, that's basically going to be the second miss that does it. And oh boy, survived a bit of a scare there, but SunApple is going to be able to notch a point on the board, all things said and done, and avoid the sweep here. Gonna go up 3-1 now.
Yep, so far.
Or rather,
yep.
It's hard to keep track with all these things happening. They're going to notch their first point on the board, like I said, and make it 3-1.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
It's been absolutely a long day, but SunApple will get the first point for this match, and now it's going to be Arcat's turn to pick a map here.
Gonna go for the protect here. So gonna go for Cozy Catastrophe. LN1 going to be the pick.
This is going to be interesting. Now, I don't know how really good Arccat is at LN, but I do know that SunApple is like, if anything, I feel like LN is actually one of his more stronger strengths than Rice, believe it or not. But
SunApple is a pretty good LN player. Arccat should not be discounted. However, I feel like the difficulty overall for these LNs are definitely still in a very high accuracy range for them. So this is going to be very tight. It's going to come down to who can keep those 200 counts to a minimum. I think that was a client miss as it tried to get everything synced up, so can't be written off. Actually, as I look at the accuracy, SunApple is climbing into that 99.3, so might have found a miss very early on. Might have been like the first or second note on a bit of a hiccup. So
wait, oh my goodness, and SunApple has actually caught up to Arccat.
that was the fastest recovery I've ever seen. As we get into the second quarter of the map, there's not a lot to this map. 1 minute and 48 seconds going to be separating these players. And that being said, SunApple has eked out a bit of an advantage here. 99.6 to 99.4. The dense patterns, very easy to start chopping off, especially at these slower scroll speeds. You think that they aren't as long as they actually are. And it is causing a bit of damage to Arcat's accuracy.
Yep. SunApple in a decent position to steal a breakpoint back from Arccat.
Yeah,
but this is getting close right
very
now.
Close.
As we are now less than half of the map to go. We are seeing SunApple recovering from what he started off with, like a 90% at the start, down to 99.75%. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think it was one of the first 10 notes that they just found a random miss on. Might have been a bit of an overhold on a bit of a lag spike, something like that, to try and explain what happened in that first sequence. But that being said, climbed all the way back up into that 99.75 range. No harm, no foul when all is said and done. And it's going to be a bit of a question mark from Arccat, I would imagine, seeing that miss in the tally. And SunApple going to be able to pull off a 990.
Yeah, and
with
so
a slider break and a miss.
Yeah, with it happened at the sixth note when that happened. So with that, I believe the miss was probably the best case scenario in a way where it didn't really hurt SunApple's chances of really trying to catch up that quickly.
Oh no, absolutely. It was way too early in the map for it to be super significant, as we can see here. And SunApple has successfully taken that breakpoint back that they gave over on Hybrid 1. So gonna have an opportunity to even things out here. I feel like Arccat might have walked into a bit of a trap protecting LN1, maybe unaware that SunApple is as good of an LN player as they are. That ratio was about 100 300s clear of the mark, even with the miss. So gonna be interesting to see how things move forward.
And good luck, have fun. So being said, both of these players are getting ready very quickly. So we are gonna go straight into Hybrid 2 with little to no rest.
LN2.
Wait. Oh, this is LN2? I thought it was Hybrid. I did not know.
It's been a long day, Pork. I empathize.
I mean, to be fair, I did have like 12 hours of sleep today. My body was just all over the place.
Yeah, it's understandable. But as we get into the second LN pick, you're gonna see these players even out the accuracies. No strange misses to start this map off, as they both hover in that 99.8 range. Arccat dropping a 200 going into the second quarter of the map is going to give SunApple the advantage, but he does find the miss.
Oh boy, this is going to give the advantage right back to Arccat. interesting performances from these two right now. We could be seeing something similar to Hybrid 1 with how SunApple might have the higher accuracy, but unfortunately that miss might come in to bite him right back in the dust.
Yeah, absolutely. Releasing a little bit early on these patterns can be forgiven, not taking too much damage here, but they have equalized the accuracy overall. 99.5s apiece. Gonna be able to make some inroads in this lead, especially if Arccat continues to drop 200s. Has managed to even out, however. They are releasing a little bit late, trying to read their way through this. Last third of the map still to come.
Yep, and we are seeing just like Hybrid 1, SunApple has a slight accuracy lead, but it really just depends if Arccat is able to full combo the rest of the way through.
Yeah, they cannot afford to find a drop here. They have to full combo the rest of this map. Last eighth of the map to go. It is about 0.1% of a lead for SunApple. Going to be able to make a dent in this lead and make it a little bit close for comfort here as we begin to wind this map down. Last 100,000 points up for grabs for both of these players. And it looks like Arccat's going to be able to do enough here.
Even though Arccat with a 200, and that's just going to be it. Slight scare towards the end, and my goodness, you can also see the difference right there. Had if SunApple did not break, SunApple could have made this a 3-3 tie into a best of 5, but it's not the case for this one.
Yeah, maybe a bit of nerves creeping into that performance there. A clean ratio, almost a V1 double S. The 200s and those 3 misses really telling the tale. If it was 1 miss out instead of the 3, might have been a different story, but it is what it is. Arccat does take a 4-2 advantage now. Has an opportunity to make this match point.
Yep, Arccat with an opportunity to really get this match going to cater to his own strengths, but there's not a lot of maps left to go, however. I mean, but Arccat's going with Rice Tree.
Ego is going to be the pick, and I agree with their assessment on this pick. It is a bit of a risk. You're banking on your consistency to get you through this versus somebody that can probably outratio you on it. You have seen the misses coming out from the other side, so this is probably their best chance to try and secure, at worst, a tiebreaker.
And good luck, have funs are being said from both of these players very quickly. I'm starting to feel, I just couldn't help but feel like, but to feel concerned for like their stamina, like, you know, like it's just interesting to see these players just like already getting ready for one map after another, and just when you're like thinking, oh, they're going to take a break from this one, no, they're already getting back on.
Yeah, I think the mentality is riding the hot hand. You don't want to allow yourself to get too cold, waiting for a pick to come out or taking a timeout and breaking the momentum that you've built up here. And as we get into the second quarter of this map, we do see the accuracies basically neck and neck with each other in the 99.8 range yet again. It's going to come down to this back half of the map that'll probably separate these players as they start to even out going into the second third of this map.
Yep. At this rate, all we could be concerned right now is their stamina. SunApple did say in the IRC chat like that something in his left hand is bothering him right now. So there may be some sort of signs of fatigue coming from his left hand.
I think one it's just nerves. Maybe a bit of finger lock coming in, overthinking some of these patterns. You've played them so often, you know that you're able to perform these at a very high level. And as the players look at the scores, it's a couple 100 points separating them right now. 100% the difference.
Yep, and you can see Arccat having a slight accuracy lead over SunApple right now. SunApple knows he really needs to pick it up.
And by pick it up, I mean this is the finest of margins that these players are working with, and Arccat finding a bit of a drop here, going into the low 0.8 range. Might have been a rush of 300s doing the damage here. SunApple not too far behind. This lead is not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. Last sliver of map left to go. Gotta avoid any rushes here. 0.82 apiece. And
No!
on the
my
last
goodness!
note.
Oh!
Wait, you're telling me that we are one judgment apiece from being tied.
Oh my gosh! What? This at the end just gives Arccat narrowly a point against SunApple. My goodness! If SunApple hadn't missed that, that would have been V1 double S.
I think they forgot what 3 notes they needed to hit at the end. They were probably hyper focusing so hard on making sure they didn't break in the stream leading up to it that they might have just assumed what the notes were going to be and just hit 3 of them. And unfortunately, it was the wrong 3. And oh my goodness, imagine if that were a 200 instead of a miss.
That could have been a tie.
That could have been a tie.
My goodness, this... I mean... I got to feel bad for SunApple. SunApple was in a prime position to really... or maybe somewhat in a way get another point off of Arccat, but especially since this previous map is one way too close to call. We could hypothesize all we want with how that map could have ended, but what that matters is that Arccat was able to stay consistent, and
yep.
Arcat's consistency
is carrying them through here.
Yeah, SunApple has been struggling with it, so consistency is gonna have to be the key if SunApple wants to win. Like, you could also say he's gonna have to hope that Arccat misses, but throughout this match, Arccat has been lights out perfect with the placements. I think he only breaks like...
I think he only broke on Gendarmes, and that one could be written off. They knew they weren't going to win that pick by any stretch of the imagination. So far, the consistency in favor of Arccat. It is going to be LN3 coming out from SunApple. Our referee doing everything that they can to ensure the players are okay, not tilting or anything, wanting to make sure that they're in the right headspace before moving into the map. So definitely appreciated there. SunApple not opting to take a timeout to try and recompose themselves. They want to probably get into this so that they can forget about that last pick. That one definitely is gonna sting. That being said,
it's going to definitely sting for SunApple, and I think I hope with that loss, it's probably going to motivate him in a way to like really think about it. But he also needs this sort of time during that break to just really recollect himself and to really think about that situation.
Yeah, I mean they're probably doing it right now during this pick, and they are absolutely destroying it. 99.81 and a 99.2. Now 3. Arccat on the road to recovery here, dipped down into that 98% range. Definitely their least comfortable map of this match so far. That being said, still holding on to the full combo, so keeping that consistency in check that has kept him alive in some of these picks. Definitely still has an outside shot of claiming it if SunApple does find a break going into the back half of the map.
Yep. As we see here, SunApple is holding at 99.76% accuracy. Arccat is somewhat struggling with improving his accuracy, but I mean he is showing a good effort to bring it back on. But SunApple, as I mentioned, Ellen is one of his strong strengths, and we are definitely seeing this in LN3.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said earlier, Arccat is no slouch when it comes to LN either. They might just struggle a little bit with the release coordination found in this pick. In particular, as we wind this map down, barring a collapse here from SunApple, I don't think we're gonna have a situation like Ego where a miss is gonna swing this at the very end. But SunApple's gonna keep themselves alive here, make it 5-3.
Yep.
Almost a V1 double S, 173 and 3 200s.
Other than that, both of these scores are very, very impressive to their own accord. But this is where it's going to play into Arccat's favor potentially, depending on the next map that he chooses.
Yeah, it's gonna be 24 Evo coming out from Arccat, so not opting to go with that ratio pick in the core jack of Ina. Gonna opt for the other Rice pick remaining in this pool.
Yep. So this is going to be interesting map choice by Arccat. I mean, Arccat going with the risk according to him saying that he's gonna go with the risk, but I mean, it just shows that with Rice, these two players, if anything, absolutely equal to each other overall.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of which player
shows up on the map.
Isn't going to be consistent first. And
yeah.
SunApple is consistent with LNDRE, but now we are going back into Rice. The Rice with SunApple. I mean, he's doing very, very good. It's just that Arccat was just slightly more consistent. However, and wait a minute.
I think that's a sink. That's a Bancho miss. Thank goodness we can all. I am literally on the edge of my seat right now, trying my best not to curse either of these players, because I don't want to ruin any of these performances. So these misses from the client are not helping my blood pressure right now. That being said, Arccat did drop a 200, and it's going to give SunApple a bit of a lead to work with. It is basically negligible at this point as we get into the second quarter of the map. That being said, as we do get into that second quarter, those 200s are going to really matter as we dive deeper into this map.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
The pacing of this map becomes a lot more frenetic, and if you can't keep your composure as the music begins to escalate, you start to get that nervy feeling from the song itself in certain instances. But right now, neither player seems to be affected by it too much as we approach this back half of the map. 0.05% separating both of these players, and it could swing in an instant if either of them lose focus for even a second here.
We are halfway into this map, and since these two players are at like almost at 700k, I would anticipate there isn't going to be not a lot of notes left. But I mean,
but this ending is very, very interesting.
Yeah, the ending is going to be interesting. However, that's what I want to say. And here we see these players executing with those rolls.
A couple of mini jacks here to contend with a couple of rolls before you go back into those outer column mini jacks. Transitions into the inner columns. Last deliver map left to go. And I hope we don't have another ego situation here.
Oh my god!
One last inverse.
Oh!
Watch the release.
Watch it! Can SunApple hold on?
Oh, and they do this time.
Yes, he can!
These are way too close for comfort. It is 19 300s and a 200 the difference between these two players. You can we might need the tiebreaker to separate these two. What is the pick for SunApple here?
Okay. So
Ina's out of the question.
There's Ina, Hybrid 2, and Hybrid 3, Soulhate Blue,
you can't do Ina. It has to be Angel's Ladder. I feel like it has to be Angel's Ladder the pick. You go for that LN-based hybrid. You had the ratio advantage. You just gotta put together a run, a V1SS to take the breakpoint from Arccat here, to give yourself an outside shot. It's going to be hybrid 2. Throw the script out the window. It's Suhide Blue.
Oh my goodness. This is an interesting choice from...
They haven't played hybrid 3.
This is going to be an interesting choice going with hybrid too. But I mean, maybe SunApple's feeling really confident out of the dream maps left available. So we won't see Ina or Angel's Ladder. Suhide Blue will be the map. This is 1 minute 57 seconds, and you know. And please, I just want to say this: you guys really do need some rest. We need some time to breathe, you know.
Oh my goodness, this has been like this winner's bracket so far has not disappointed. We have had some tense matchups this weekend so far, and this one is not failing to deliver.
Yep, and you can see the Filipino friends, the Filipino Kaibi gods, supporting their one compatriot Arccat. Meanwhile, you have SunApple, who's just won't give up to Arccat. He's going to do whatever he can to make sure he will give us that tiebreaker.
This is the furthest Arccat has been pushed so far this tournament. You said at the top of the broadcast that I don't believe he has given up more than 2 points to anybody this tournament.
Same thing goes to SunApple. Both of these players have not given up more than 3 points. I mean, SunApple gave up 2 in the round of 16. And oh my goodness, bad show.
I need a bit of a panic here.
Panic, streamer, panic, please. Please. It's going crazy all over the place. It's not
we'll
helping.
Get it sorted. Not an abort. It was supposed to be a panic. But regardless, gonna chalk that one up to a bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah, some sort of miscommunication. I think Bachme just accidentally pressed abort.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't think either player minds a second run of that, but gotta love this client giving us heart attacks left and right when it comes to
oh man,
how everything goes. So it is going to be Suhide Blue.
Yeah, Suhide Blue, the RPM map. Thankfully it showed up on the screen because I could have sworn it was showing a different map. Alrighty.
Okay, so round 2 of this decider.
Alrighty, so 10 seconds to go. Yep, and as you know, we need to remind everyone the situation, even though they already know it is 5-4 in favor of Arccat. SunApple looking to force a tiebreaker. So far, Arccat has been a lot more consistent. But SunApple isn't going to give up just yet.
Yeah, and as we dive into this map, we see Arccat with the mirror here, probably wanting to play these anchor patterns on the offhand. Might find a bit of comfort there. And as they trade 200s, this lead is going to swing back and forth going into the second quarter of the map. God, I don't know about you, Borg. I'm literally on the edge of my seat. I dare not say anything about either of these players' performances so far. They're both doing very well so far. I do not want to...
With the accuracy drop, I did see him drop a 200 right there. With the miss, and that's going to give the lead right back to Arccat. This, especially since how Arccat has been performing right now, he's been a lot more consistent. This is not the situation that SunApple will want to be in.
No, but they do have a bit of an accuracy lead here, so gonna be able to claw back some of this lead once they get back up over that 400 combo cap, and Arccat needs to do everything in their power to hold on to the full combo here. It is 400% the lead for SunApple, but the score is not on their side right now. Last third of the map to go, and it looks like Arcat's put it together so far. The accuracies are tied, a couple of 200s on the rolls, but that can be forgiven. The full combo is left intact. Last quarter of the map to go. It is now 0.2% of a lead, and SunApple's going to be able to make some inroads here now as we wait for everything to sync up once again.
Yep, I mean, that's not, I don't think...
It's going to take a massive drop. It's going to take either an accuracy drop, and that's not the drop I was talking about, and that is going to spell the end of SunApple's comeback here. Last sliver of map left to go, and it was a valiant effort. The performances were astonishing to be able to claw back as many points as they did, but unfortunately the consistency was not on their side today. Arccat is going to survive the biggest scare they've had so far this tournament and take it 6-4.
Yeah.
Oh, those ratios were there.
SunApple,
oh my goodness.
Throughout mostly the entire match, SunApple had the better ratio. It's just that those misses really what costed him the opportunity in 3-4 occasions that could have seen the end of Arccat to the losers bracket, but that's not the case. Arcat's main game was consistency, and that consistency, especially in the quarterfinals, have dramatically paid off.
Absolutely.
In a way that Arccat, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think Arccat won by luck. I believe he used his strongest strengths to his advantage as a lot more stronger than, SunApple strengths, and in the end, Arccat really capitalized on it, narrowly avoiding a tiebreaker. And with this in mind,
how that would have gone.
Yeah. And with this in mind, Arccat will advance to the winners semifinals, where Arccat will meet against the 4th seed Logan 636, which I don't think he's not going to have any work cut off for him.
Out of the frying pan into the oven situation for Arccat here. But that being said, I mean, leading up to this, I don't think there was anybody that doubted Arccat more than Arccat going into this match. They had no faith in their ability to take this pick, and I think judging by the reaction in the lobby chat after he realized that he had won, just goes to show you the amount of relief going through their body right now. Again, as you said, SunApple will be dropping down into that lower bracket. And I think we're going to have a bit of a tiebreaker showcase. I think they want to play the tiebreaker. Yeah,
and I was going to say, with Arcat's nerves, it just only goes to show how good SunApple is, especially in this stage. I mean, best of luck to both of these players in the semifinals, as these two players maybe in some sort of way are destined to meet each other again.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, this may not be the last they will meet up.
Absolutely, and as we get this little bit of a showcase going between these two players, just a couple of things to note. We are now in the second day of this quarterfinals weekend. The next match upcoming, we have a couple of matches coming up. At 9 UTC will be the next match. It'll be P-Dog4 and I going against Sky the Dum Dum. I believe the winner of that match
will face SunApple.
So pretty good reward for your efforts making it into the semifinals. After that, we do have a 13 UTC match between Ellen Numuser and Jared Pog. Then 16 UTC, we have a doubleheader of Sky going up against Trainer and Keskety going against Neon Dracon. So a US matchup followed by a French-Swedish matchup. And then we round out this weekend with Era Survey going up against GLEO. And then after that, we'll determine a time for the semifinal showcase. So that you guys can laud over the decisions of our map poolers. They're doing their absolute best. Please be sure to give them your thanks for coordinating the picks for you guys to play.
Yeah, and as we are near the end of the quarterfinals, it just looks like, you know, we will have, I believe, 12 players left standing after the quarterfinals will end. It's going to be very interesting as you know, with the maps being more harder as the tournament progresses, and you know, the caliber of the players left standing is just going to be top notch, and surely they will give everyone performances to watch out for. I mean, it just shows that even though SunApple lost, he's going to be a very, very tough opponent to face in the losers bracket. And I think, you know, assuming if SunApple wins his first losers bracket match, he will face off against either the number 5 seed Lurk or the winner of the second losers quarters match between Jared Pog and the user of the LN clan, or assuming the tag is LN.
I mean, some people just like putting square brackets in their names.
Understandable.
It's interesting that the fact that they're playing this tiebreaker, it's a sign of what could have been. It is so bittersweet having this as a showcase and not as a decider between these two. Oh man, it's one to ruminate on. Hopefully SunApple is able to shake it off and continue delivering some incredible performances in these semifinals. They're definitely going to need to continue the performances they've been putting up, because I mean, they took Arccat to almost tiebreaker, and everybody thinks that Arccat is the favorite in this tournament, barring a couple other players. I think everybody in the top 8 has an outside shot of winning this if the map pools shape up in their favor.
Yep.
But as we get into this back half of the map, we see SunApple still holding on to the full combo here. Arccat did find a break. And yeah, it is a bit for fun, but you wonder just how much effort they're putting in. You would imagine that they're putting forth everything that they have to deliver a bit of a show here for us. But you would imagine the adrenaline dump is starting to set in, the body starts to relax, and you're just like, I am exhausted.
Yep, I mean, to be fair, it is about to be 12 in the morning for SunApple, and for Arccat, it's probably like around
noon? 1
no,
o'clock?
Morning. It's like morning in the Philippines, so magandang umaga to the Filipinos who are still watching right now.
Isn't there, I think we can make a bit of a plug here. Isn't there a very important match coming up relatively soon for Philippine players?
I mean, unless if you're a night owl like me, because sleep is for the weak, there is the Philippines Nationals Mania Grand Finals, that is currently going on right now. Interestingly, Saturday, there was no matches that happened. So the Philippines Nationals Mania is in the Grand Finals. They both have a 4-key and a 7-key tournament, and unfortunately, for both of those losers Grand Finals happened via win by default. So the Grand Finals for 4-key and 7-key, and I actually do hope it actually happens today, is the one at 17 at around 5 p.m. in the Philippines. It's going to be VLTMT versus Arccat in the 4K Grand Finals. 2 players to watch out for potentially for the 4K Mania World Cup for the Philippines team. And then for the 7-key Grand Finals, you have Kura taking on Barry at 8 p.m. where they live. So yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting, and I am so excited to only commentate on the 4 key grand finals because it would be at 1 a.m. and I can absolutely stay up for that match and clean the bracket reset if that happens. But other than that, yeah, SunApple will win the
match
show match.
tiebreaker.
It just shows that
Yeah, this what could have been, but that being said, I think we'll call it a night here or a morning, depending on where you live. Thank you all for joining us. We'll do our best to bring you guys the remaining matches. It's a little scheduling is a little dubious in terms of streamer time zones, but if we do have any, we'll keep you guys posted on the Discord server, give you guys that notification of when we do go live, especially when we do have a time sorted for the semifinal showcase. But until then, they've been Pork, I've been Sparky. We'll catch you guys later.
Check the self-promote channel. I uploaded something new. Please check it out. I worked on this video for 4 months. Okay, got that out of the way.